All right, Con, we on the Planned Parenthood website, and we're gonna go down to yeah, opposition claims about Margaret Sanger. I don't care what you only gonna say good things, so we're gonna see what it says about Margaret Sanger because we know this woman perpetuated the women's lib and a lot of other BS um, as far as putting women in position in men's position, right? It says opposition claims about Margaret Sanger. It says Margaret Sanger gained worldwide renown, respect, and admiration for the founding of birth control movement and later the Planned Parenthood Federation of America, as well as for developing and encouraging family planning efforts throughout the international community. And what did he just do? He just defunded the international community with Planned Parenthood, right? It says among her many visionary accomplishments as a social reformer, Sanger established these principles. A woman's right to control her body is the foundation of her human rights. So see, they opened up Pandora's box, giving this woman all of this license and freedoms and decision making of whether or not she should be able to have the baby or not. And what's funny is even today, it's up to the woman, and the man pretty much has no say so because it's her control of her body. Well, won't she control her body and close her damn box then? You know, won't she close up them legs, and then that's how you control it? Put on a goddamn chastity belt or something. Why can't that be an option? Right. So every person should be able to decide when and whether to have a child, but you take that from the men, you know, because it's not up to the men, right? It says every child should be wanted and loved. Every was it women are entitled, key word here, entitled to sexual pleasure and fulfillment. So she's entitled to sexual pleasure, but she don't have to have the consequences that come with that, right? That's bullshit, man. I got a script right quick. Go to this right quick. Because sex is when is the pleasure. Watch, it's gonna say right in Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter. Move slow. Yeah, I'm starting at 1. Yeah, it says Wisdom of Solomon 7:1. So I myself also am a mortal man, like to all, and the offspring of him that was first made of the earth. And in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months, compacted in blood of the seed of Adam. Didn't it say about blood? That you shouldn't spill man's blood? In Genesis the 9th chapter? Compacted in blood of the seed of man and the pleasure that came with sleep. Yeah. So that pleasure that came with sleep, I'm going to have to open up that whole, it's still there, cool. That pleasure that came, look, it says women are entitled to sexual pleasure and fulfillment. So they can go be hoes out there and have no recourse to what they do. Well, you're taking out the Most High's judgment on that. He's supposed to be able to say whether or not you have a life or not. You think all those barren women, whether it was Sarah or Rebecca or even Rachel, you think they weren't still having sex? Yeah, they were still having sex. The Most High give it the increase though. He puts the souls into the people that come to the earth. You know, if he deems it possible for that. We don't know why the Lord could keep you from having a baby, or you just like Leah. He kept flooding her with children. Every time he knew Leah, talking about Jacob, every time Jacob knew Leah, he kept putting seed in her, making her that much more valuable because she was not the desired wife. The desired wife he had was actually Rachel. So there's purpose for that. So now you're taking out the purpose of the Most High, which is BS, man. That's why you think he's going to come back and be happy about that? You think he's going to destroy all the people that believe in this BS? It says help to bring about the reversal of federal state Comstock laws and prohibited publication and distribution of information about sex, sexuality, contraception, and American reproduction. But see, pushing this sexual vibration out on the earth now, look. Yep. Look, it said created access to birth control for low-income, minority, and immigrant women. That's you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Because that's where these Planned Parenthoods are stacked up in your neighborhoods, man. Stacked up in your neighborhoods. And it's destroying you as a people. Back in the ancient times of Egypt, when we went into Egypt, that's what the Pharaoh, matter of fact, I'll just grab it, man. Let me just grab it. Acting like I don't know where these scriptures at and just grab it. Let's go to KJV. Yeah, I had some holding with that, but I'll move on with that. Let's see, KJV. It's in Exodus. Yeah, Exodus 1. Yeah. Let me see where this is at, or is it the second chapter? Yeah. Here we go. 1 and 7. Exodus 1 and 7. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. This is just what Jake does. It's what Israel does. You Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, this is what you do. You become fruitful and you multiply, right? Even though we're in captivity. It says, now there arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. Right? Because him and that Pharaoh was cool. It says, and he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when they falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out the land. So they get up out this land on us, right? We don't have control over no more. To jump down to the point, 13 said, and the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter in hard bondage. It said, with hard bondage in mortar and in brick. They were building them in pyramids. It said, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they were made to serve was with rigor. And you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, you know your job is with rigor. You know, the jobs that we have to do are with rigor, man. It not even just the physical labor, but the mental stress that comes with these jobs. And getting to these jobs and dealing with the cops and having registration. All of this is put on you. So what does Jake do to feel good? He go make happy time, so to speak, with his woman. And then doing that, the pleasure that came with sleep, they multiply and and be fruitful. Let me see. Yeah, let me keep reading on. Okay. Yeah, verse 20. It said, therefore, the Most High dwelt with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. Even though he tried to do that, See if I can get into this one. I think it's the second chapter of Exodus. Because there's a point that I'm looking for. I have to look it up, but you brothers may know the story, and I don't want to spend too much time on that. But they went through this whole Planned Parenthood idea, in Egypt, where the Pharaoh went and was killing off our people, under a certain year, certain age, to get rid of all the mighty numbers of our people, which is today is modern day, with ancient times, but now is modern day Planned Parenthood. So I want to read into this now. It says, It says reading up here at the top. It says Sanger also has some beliefs, practices, and associations that we acknowledge and denounce, and that we work to rectify today. This fact sheet is designed to separate fact from fiction, and to further explain Sanger's views and the background against which they must be judged. We hope that this information will encourage open conversations and serve as a way to address racism and ableism wherever it exists. But you don't realize what you did was You hit Jake off, man. Jake is the number one percentages of people that use these Planned Parenthood murder machines. Because that's all they really are. They're really the murder machine. It's genocide going into these Planned Parenthoods, whether it be from condoms or from when the baby is there and the Most High put that baby there, where they begin to kill the babies, which you can see if you ever watched the ultrasound of an abortion. Man, it's horrific, man. It's horrific. There's babies in there trying to dodge and trying to fight for their life in the womb with no space and getting killed by the instrument in there, man. It's a horrific sight to see that. You know, it says Harlem 1930. In 1930, Sanger opened a family planning clinic in Harlem. In Harlem. Now, in the 30s, yeah, Harlem wasn't all Jake, but it still was and became the central place of where Jake was. It says that sought to enlist support for contraceptive use, stopping pregnancies and stopping the fruitful multiplication, right? It says, and to bring the benefits of family planning to women who were denied access to their city's health and social services. It's you Negro women, man. It says staff with a black physician and black social worker. Look, they put us in, those are the taskmasters they put over you. And those midwives they put over you. From ancient Egypt. There's no new thing under the sun. They're doing the same job. But not only are they trying to help, they say they're trying to help you have a wonderfully planned pregnancy, you know, but they're helping you get rid of the babies if you don't feel or they don't deem you ready to do it. They talk you into it. And I've seen some of these places. They even try to use the Bible in there and talk to you about it in some of these clinics. It says staffed by a black physician and a black social worker. The clinic was endorsed by the Amsterdam News, a powerful local newspaper, the Abyssinian Baptist Church, the Urban League, and the Black Community's Elder Statesman, W.E.B. Du Bois, Chancellor 92-93. I guess who wrote that. It says Negro Project from 1939 through 1942. It says beginning in 1939, Du Bois served as the advisory council for Sanger's Negro Project, which was designed to serve African Americans in the rural South. The advisory council called it a unique experiment. These motherfuckers experiment on you. We've been bringing that out. There's Tuskegee. There's all types of they give a diligent search by putting all these experiments out on you. To experiment in race building and humanitarian service to a race subjected to discrimination, hardship, and segregation. In a letter to philanthropist Albert Lasker, from whom she hoped to raise funds for the project, Sanger wrote that she wanted to help. And of course, there's a quote, a nice clean quote versus what it actually says, right? It says, a group notoriously underprivileged and handicapped to a large measure by a caste system that operates as an added weight upon the efforts to get a fair share of the better things in life. While taking your children from you? Really? That's a better share in life by taking your children from you? Why isn't closing your legs an option? To give them the means of helping themselves is perhaps the richest gift of all. by helping them help themselves by allowing you to kill their children, right? That's a smart thing to do, right? We believe birth control knowledge brought to this group is the most direct, constructive aid that can be given them to improve their immediate situation. So they don't have the hardships of dealing with 4 or 5 kids versus 1 or 2. That's bullshit, man. That's bullshit. It's a goddamn devil. This lady's a damn devil. And when you think about what they're doing, and you 2/3, man, that still use this practice today, you got some damn devils too, man. Now, I'm not going to front and act like I never have. I have. Through ignorance, I didn't know. I knew my BM and I, we wasn't ready for that. And it actually happened twice because she went and had a medical procedure, and we didn't know she was pregnant, and the doctor gave her something. Come to find out she was pregnant. Like, why didn't y'all do the test to find out she was pregnant? Well, you got to get rid of that. To save you, you got to get rid of that. Because we gave you something that's going to mess up to make the baby retarded and handicapped. And so we sat there, and, you know, she didn't want to give it up, but then eventually we had to. She went back to months later for something else. The doctor's like, hey, you still ain't got rid of that baby? What's wrong with you? Get rid of that baby. That baby's no good. It was like, damn. So we had to do it. But that's supposed to improve our immediate situation, right? For real. It says, I think it is magnificent that we are in on the ground floor helping Negroes to control their birth rate. The Most High said, be fruitful and multiply. It didn't say add or subtract. It said multiply. It didn't say keep even. It said multiply. This is the elite's agenda that they're doing, the Georgia Guidestones, to maintain humanity on the planet under 500,000, the population of 500 million, from 7 billion to 500 million, right in line with their plan. Things like this open the door for further wickedness. It says, to helping Negroes to control their birth rate, to reduce their high infant and maternal death rate, to maintain better standards of health and living for those already born, and to create better opportunities for those who will be born. Sanger 1942. That's some goddamn bullshit, man. Our leaders of the African American community who were involved in the project include Mary McLeod Bethune, I don't know how to say that. It's a founder of the National Council of Negro Women, bullshit, and Adam Clayton Powell Jr., pastor of the Episcopal Baptist Church in Harlem. Look, we got Martin Luther King over here. I'm gonna read his part in a minute. Let's go to this. It says the Negro Project. The Negro Project was also endorsed by prominent white Americans who were involved in social justice efforts at the time, including Eleanor Roosevelt. Look at these top names, top American names. Eleanor Roosevelt and medical philanthropists and it's multiple, Andrew and Mary Lasker, whose financial support made the project possible. Some damn Edomites made it possible. They gave them the financial backing. It says, because that's in their agenda to control and destroy you jakes. Division of Negro Service, 1940 through 43. It says Sanger's Birth Control Federation of America, which became Planned Parenthood Federation of America in 1942, established a division of Negro Service to oversee the Negro Project and to implement Sanger's educational outreach to African American nationally. It says sponsored by Sanger's fundraising efforts and directed by Florence Rose. It says the division provided black organizations across the country with Planned Parenthood literature, set up local educational exhibits, facilitated local and national public relations, and employed an African-American doctor, May McCarroll, a woman, to lobby medical groups and teach contraceptive techniques to other black doctors. Because they know we didn't trust the so-called white man, so they would have jakes do it. And those are those jakes that were set as the taskmasters over the lower jakes to push a certain agenda. And you look at it like, okay, since you find out you think it's something good, you roll with it. Nothing different than they're doing today. Taskmasters come in every different shape and size now. They got we're all in the WNBA and women first and all of this, and they got men pushing it. You know, the men of the NBA pushing it. They got men of the NFL pushing pink uniforms, doing women's breast cancer month or whatever. All this BS, man. Not realizing that all of this is coming from the Most High. He has all these things set up in place. Whether you have a baby or die or whatever happens, and live and be healthy, all of that's meant for a purpose. In the kingdom of heaven, we will have perfect births. You know? It says, Martin Luther King Jr. in 1966, the year Sanger died, the Reverend Lucifer Coon, Martin Luther King Jr. said, we here, especially here at Great Millstone, and in the truth, man, we know the skinny on Martin Luther King Jr. Real name Michael King. We know the truth on this guy, man. He didn't push the Bible properly until his later years, after his most famous speeches. The ones after that, right before he died, were the better speeches, more truthful. But he was pushing an agenda to help kill Jake. And he said it. I think I've led my people to the slaughter. That's another tale. His birthday just passed earlier this month. It says, there's a striking kinship between our movement and Margaret Sanger's early efforts. Her early efforts. Our sure beginning in the struggle and equality by nonviolent direct action may not have been so resolute without the traditional established by Margaret Sanger and people like her, King said in 1966. Well, when did abortion become nonviolent? Abortion is violent. They're killing someone inside of a womb. So how is that nonviolent? It's all BS, man. All right, let's go back out of that. Let's go back into this Planned Parenthood. Because it's a beautiful thing that Trump is defunding this thing. It's a beautiful thing that he's defunding this thing. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into too much more of it. Let's see what we got here. Addressing health disparities. We want the statistics. Let's find out some statistics. No. We want Roe versus Wade. Roe v. Wade. Yep, Roe v. Wade. Open the door, open Pandora's box, no pun intended, to this bullshit, man. Roe versus Wade, its history and impact. On January 22nd, 1973, so that was yesterday, 40-something years ago, said the U.S. Supreme Court announced its decision in Roe v. Wade. A challenge to a Texas statute that made it a crime to perform an abortion unless a woman's life was at stake. Yeah, unless her life was at stake. Now, this Roe v. Wade opened it up because of the privacy and the woman's ability to choose. Her to make the decision whether she can have a child or not. Said the case had been filed by Jane Roe, an unmarried woman who wanted to safely and legally end her pregnancy, siding with Roe. The court struck down the Texas law. In its ruling, the court recognized for the first time that the constitutional right to privacy. So they say the constitutional right superseded the state law of Texas, right? It said is broad enough to encompass a woman's decision whether or not to terminate her pregnancy. Roe v. Wade 73. Now, this is how these devils set this thing up. They'll put different case laws. They'll put different implemented things, just like they're doing with the chip. They'll put a chip. The word I want. They'll do the Amazon Go. They'll do the RFID in your bank cards. They'll slowly get rid of cash, and then they'll have the Amber Alerts. They'll do all these things, and then they'll put a system together. They'll talk about all these illegals and jobs or whatever. Then they'll be like, well, we've devised a perfect system to get that'll help monitor all of this, right? To keep all of this in order. Yeah, and it'll be the RFID chip, and by the time they force it upon you, you'll be with it. If you never lose your car keys again, you'll be able to get access into your house. Only your chip will be able to do it. Anybody connected to your house with their chips will be able to do it. Your car with their chips in their car. So, and if we can locate you in case you get kidnapped or you get dementia and wander off into the middle of the desert. They're going to use all of this stuff to push this chip, just like they lit all the stuff that lined up to this to push this abortion thing. So it's a beautiful thing, and I'm going to clap for it. Donald Trump, It's defunding it. He can't take it away. So if he stops giving it money, it won't thrive like it once was. So that's a beautiful thing. He says, Roe has become so like Roe has come to be known as the case that legalized abortion nationwide. At the time the decision was handed down, nearly all states outlawed abortion except to save a woman's life or for limited reasons such as preserving the woman's health or instances of rape, incest, or fetal anomaly. It says Roe rendered these laws unconstitutional, making abortion services vastly safer and more accessible to women throughout the country. The decision also set a legal precedent that affected more than 30 subsequent Supreme Court cases involving restrictions on access to abortion. And you people ate it up, man. And you people ate it up, especially you Negro, Latino, and Native American women. You guys ate it up. You said, "Oh, I can go be a slut with no retribution. I can go commit adultery and nothing happened to me." You think the Most High forgot about this? He has surely not forgotten about it. It says, yeah, I'm not gonna read all of this. I mean, you guys can go right on. It's right on their website. You can read into all of this. They PDF downloads and whatever else. You can read right into it. Okay, so now we're gonna go back into why we're with this, man. If you're about the truth, you should be with this. Let's see here. We're gonna go internet. Let's see here. I'm gonna go right into Exodus, the 23rd chapter, and I'm gonna try to close it out after that.